Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of May Monkey Madness. I am your host, Max Keller Halls, and with me today I have. And today we are going to be talking about War for the Planet of the Apes, the third and final film in the Caesar trilogy. And yeah, this one is the best in my opinion. This is one of my favorite films of all time. I don't know why. I just really like watching it over and over again. It's pretty much everything I've always loved. Like I love about film. What this movie is about? It's been a couple years since dawn. Caesar and his apes have been at war with this militant group, let's just say, because it's not an entire army, and they've been trading blows back and forth with each other. None of them really want this war, but they have to fight it. Caesar and the apes figure out a way to get out of this war, but before that can happen, a tragedy is struck in his life, and Caesar goes on a revenge mission to go after the colonel who brought so much pain onto him. And yeah, that's pretty much what the most of this film is. It's not really focused on the war at large. Like, the most you get of apes versus humans in this movie is in the opening scene. Even with that being the case, I still love this movie. This is the best of Caesar, hands down. Like, this has my favorite moments, my favorite lines, my favorite action beats. Just everything about this character just comes to fruition in this final film. And Andy Serkis just fucking brings it as always. But this is the one where it really gets to show off him as an actor. And it's just so good. Adrian, you have seen this, and you have not told me your thoughts on it yet. So I'm very curious as to what you have to say.
I can definitely say this one is above the first one for me. I could go either way with 2 or 3 being my number one. I loved both of them. It's almost equal. Each have their own little quirks to me that make them my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing, I guess, holding back for me, I guess the straight line of the story, but it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a revenge tour. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just that storyline to me is kind of simple because with films that have been released recently and things before that as well, I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, this is the line. I think I said it. I think in the first one too, like, it's a storyline, or in previous movies that we reviewed, like, the storyline is this is the same as what I've seen before. How will it make it different?
Mm-hmm.
That's really a lot of my criteria for movies, and this one did it well. I just love the dynamic of just Caesar and that evolution for him,
Mm-hmm.
and also seeing the other characters get involved.
Oh yeah,
I think that
this has to be my
was my
favorite
favorite.
version of him and his squad together. Like you got Maurice, you got Rocket, and you also get a couple new characters called Luca, and probably the scene stealer in this film, Bad Ape.
Yeah,
Bad Ape is awesome.
yeah. That's what Bad Ape is honestly one of the reasons why I put it above too,
Mm-hmm.
because the first two never really had a comedy aspect,
Mm-hmm.
like a comic relief character.
Mm-hmm.
But then Bad Ape came in and just did it so well and it didn't really ruin the vibe at all. It was just he's there, it's funny. To me, it didn't ruin anything, so I really liked him.
Oh no! Why so small? Oh.
I love him too because yeah, like honestly, if you didn't have him in this film would be very depressing.
Yeah.
Like there's like none of the other characters are like laughing about anything going on. But neither is Bad Ape. He's just very clueless and he's just kind of thrown into this situation.
Yeah, and I like how he's somewhat of a mediator throughout the story.
Yeah. I like his character for like two reasons. One, basically he helps the main characters throughout moments in their mission, either at first directly or just by being there and helping out. But I also like the wider story implication of the character. in that he's like the first ape that's not a part of their colony that's like actually smart and is able to speak and speak somewhat well, like at least more than
Yeah.
others.
And he really just taught himself for the
Yeah,
most part.
he learned by listening, and that's what I really like about his character. He's just like he's he's not dumb. He's just very out of his element.
Yeah.
And I think the actor who plays him, Steve Zahn, is really good at like towing that line between comedy and heartfelt moments because there is a scene where like him and Caesar just have a heart to heart about like, yeah, I lost a son too. All right, I'll help you out. Like that moment is really sweet and like really like kind of brings his character down to like this sad clown element. But
Yeah.
he's
I wish I could see more clips of that ape. There wasn't enough.
And watch the movie, bro. And I don't know what else to tell you.
Fuck, alright, I'll log into Pornhub.
what?
I would just give you the DVDs Max gave me.
I'll just give you the DVD. Okay.
I don't know why you need Pornhub.
It's on there.
But like,
all right.
And it's in HD too. Whew.
I like how he has
the-
the link open while we're reviewing this.
Oh, sorry, you guys didn't know I like to masturbate while doing these.
you just hear office audio. Are you watching porn all by yourself? Is this monetizable?
No.
Fuck. Well, we're not getting paid for this anyway.
Like what I also really like about this film is like it somehow manages to create like yeah, and you brought up in the well, I guess we talked about this in the first review of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, how like Caesar is kind of like this Moses figure. Yeah, and you even went as far as saying that Caesar is Jewish, and yeah, this film you might want to regret saying that because the apes are in an internment camp throughout a good portion of the film.
That just makes me want to say it again.
Oh boy, but yeah, like the whole like biblical epic is definitely like there, and like even how the film ends is very much the story, just how Moses' story was done. And yeah, that's kind of what I like about this. But upon being like a biblical epic, I really like how it is a character study of someone going through this amount of grief and trauma and how they are dealing with it and how like hypocritical they've become. Like there's moments in the film where he hallucinates seeing Koba, and those scenes are awesome because he's just realizing like, oh my god, like I am no different than this person that I despised and that has caused so much pain for me, but I am no different than them. And yeah, it's just a great like moments of the film. I mean, if we want to talk about the human characters, Adrian, do you have anything to say before I start? Because there's really two we could talk about.
Yeah, there's really two. So you can just go on, and I'll just add on because I basically just forgot their names and just only know their motive, except the little one, of course.
Yeah.
Obvious.
So I guess we could start kind of getting into spoilers here. Is that the main villain is the Colonel? I don't think they ever really give his full name. He's mostly just not named the Colonel in the film, and played by Woody Harrelson. He's just terrifying because like he's effective, he's to the point. He doesn't really fuck around, but he knows what he needs to do, and he's willing to do absolutely anything to get that goal or to protect humanity as a whole, even in his weird, twisted, fucked up ways. But yeah, like I guess what we could kind of get into spoilers as we get into the next character or human character because it kind of ties in with the Colonel. He is trying to stop like the virus that was established in the first film and wiped out humanity in the second film now mutated and is affecting the people that were immune to it by causing them to lose their ability to speak and become primitive again. It's interesting. They don't act entirely like animals, but they don't speak. They're kind of clueless as to what is going on. They lost.
I mean, they lose what makes them different from monkeys
Yeah.
or
Animals in general, yeah. Like they don't just start acting like chimps. They
lose that like cognitive thinking and language.
mm-hmm.
the apes never have in real life.
Mhm.
So just kind of seeing the roles in this world.
Yeah, and the one character that we have throughout the film that it does show that is this little girl who's eventually named Nova. They come across this like little village and basically just roll up and kill that one, her caretaker, and
Yeah.
they're like, well, shit, she can't live on her own. Like she's clueless. She can't survive on her own. So Maurice kind of like takes her along with him on this journey. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of like the lone wolf and cub story anymore because I think it's been overdone. But I feel like this was in 2017, the same year as Logan. So this was kind of like this is my cutoff point where I'm like, okay, no more. I don't want to see any more. But what I like about this character is that she still shows this part of humanity that's like we're not all evil, and even when we're down to just our basic mindset where we can't even speak to a point, we still have this ability to like care and take care and have love for others. Because, all right, I'm kind of curious as to what you think of this scene in the film, Adrian. But my favorite scene of this entire trilogy, that may even rival the Caesar saying no, is where she manages to just walk into this camp and save Caesar by giving him food and water. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense of like, okay, how does this little girl just walk into a camp? For
Yeah.
me, it like what I like about it is just that like it's just this one simple act of like genuine kindness that just manages to sneak past all these different people with their like different political beliefs and hatred and vitriol for each other, but it's just this one innocent, nice act, like gesture, that manages to get this girl through the front door and help save this person. I guess I could say person that didn't really even care for her at the beginning, but she still has this capacity, even in this primitive state, to care for someone else. And I always just like that, and that like because this movie can ultimately kind of be seen as like humanity bad, but like those moments do show as like no, like there's still good people out there, even when they're gonna be in a state of basically reverting back to the Stone Age mentally. They are still we at our core are still able to care and love and stuff like that. And plus, this also leads into my other favorite scene that just follows right after this, where Rocket basically is just like, all right, I gotta save this girl somehow. So he just walks up, just starts making noise, trying to distract the guards so that she can get out of there. And he fights the bad gorilla in this film. And yeah,
Yeah.
I just fucking love that scene because when it's all done, he's been beaten up and thrown into the cages. I love the part where he like looks at Caesar, and even though he's like bleeding everywhere, he's like, "You good?" Caesar's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Good. We got a plan to get out of this fucker." I love that moment, and the apes together strong because that's the moment where all the apes have come together and like accepted Caesar as their leader again. Just overall a great scene. I'm kind of curious as to what you think about it because again, the scene is more like metaphorical, and if you were to take that scene literally, it doesn't really make sense. But I still love that scene.
Yeah, I really love that scene. It's just the way it built up to
Mm-hmm.
the upright. I mean, yeah, one of my biggest issues was so this human child is just walking in the middle of the road
Mm-hmm.
while a bunch of lights, and
Yeah.
these guys are their main focus is to watch the area and make sure no monkeys get out.
Uh huh.
And this little girl can just walk around,
Mm-hmm.
grab food, go to Caesar, their number one captive,
Mm-hmm.
eat him.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say I feel like it's a little forced, but I'm willing to let that go because I like the
Yeah,
feelings. Yeah.
feeling the message so great right after you look over the part.
Yeah. To be
And
fair, they also make a point in this film to show that the people guarding the ape enclosure are not the smartest people. Because I wanted to get Yen's opinion on this scene. I don't know if I was able to send it, but there's a scene where yeah, one of the apes throws shit at one of the prison guards to get him to come down and like steal. That way they could steal his keys.
I don't think you sent that clip.
But yeah, there's a scene in this film where in order to get out of the cages, Caesar and the apes devise a plan to have Rocket throw his shit at one of the guards to get him upset and come down into the ape enclosure so that they can steal his keys. And it's really funny. He's even taunting the guy because he's like, "Yeah, I'm the one who did it." He's just like, he has a pile of shit in his hand and he's just kind of like rolling it in his hands, just like, "Yeah, I'll do it again, bitch."
I'll fucking do it again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's just like so many like funny little moments in this film, but it's funny too because like, yeah, it's apes throwing shit, but like, it's somehow not classless. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem it's childish, yes, but I don't know. It doesn't come across as like, well, that's stupid. But part of me is like, well, no. I mean, like, they're apes. They're known to do this in real life. Why wouldn't they do that? Like, I don't know. I find it really funny, like how it's a funny scene. It's disgusting, but it's also like it doesn't like make this film dumb in any way. It's just like, oh yeah, that's how they would do it. The only thing that makes it dumb is that the guard was idiotic enough to like go into an ape enclosure by himself, no, mind you, and just decide to like taunt these apes by saying, "Who threw that at me?" Like, what the fuck, dude?
Like, why are you surprised?
Yeah.
And for a monkey, they all like, yeah, like one person's gonna be like, "It was me."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's human or monkey? Is someone's not just gonna admit it?
Mm-hmm.
And you think, yeah, I mean, you said before, they're not the smartest people. Oh, you threw this. Now I'm mad. Now I go in. Now I'm open.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, the humans aren't like the smartest in this film, even down to like their blind hate for these apes.
Yeah,
But
I always found the motive a little weird. I guess that's another part of that pushed me away, but I did understand it. I think the thing was like more me looking against Caesar
mm-hmm.
and like, oh yeah, he's being just like Cobalt. I'm like, yeah, this is a very great dynamic in this movie, and I love it. That's what's different. Love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I also would like to say like this is the film where all the ape characters are just the best. I know this is weird to say, but like the three variety of gorillas we have in this film are really interesting. Like we have the one that's gone turncoat and basically become an ally to the humans. With I think his name is Red Donkey. You got Winter, who betrayed the apes by giving away their secret headquarters, and then you have Luca, who is just like this at first like side character that doesn't really have that many lines, but suddenly becomes like one of the characters you almost like cry about because, oh man, they killed off Luca. That sucks.
Quick question: is that the same ape from 1 and 2?
No.
Mm,
Because the one in
I see.
the one in the first movie dies. He might be in 2, but just in the background because he's not like a major player. But in this film, he's like a big part of the film because like Caesar has like 2 gorilla guards at him at all times, Luca and Winter, who is this albino ape.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Luca is basically Caesar's like personal bodyguard. So when kind of a big spoiler. Caesar's son and wife get killed off in like the first like 20 minutes of the film, 30 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing. And that's the reason why Caesar goes on this revenge mission because basically his love and his future were killed off. Like he still has one son left. He still has Cornelius, which if you guys want to know, that is a reference to the first film in this franchise where one of the apes' name was Cornelius.
The funny thing is, I saw a post on Instagram, or not TikTok. It's like top 5 apes with the most aura. Number 5 was Cornelius from the very first Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, so that's a reference.
Yep. And Nova, the girl in this film, is a reference to the human female in the first film, the one that Charlton Heston just kind of has around.
Nice.
But no, yeah, those are 2 little references. But back to Luca. Yeah, he just like becomes like the main heart of the film for like a good like 5 minutes, and then just get killed off, and you're like, oh man, I barely knew this guy, but I kind of feel bad for him because like he seems like an alright dude. Like he was just trying to protect Caesar, and like he feels like he failed because Caesar's wife and kid were killed. So when he gets to save Caesar, he finally feels like vindicated and like, oh, or like, I did it. I finally protected Caesar. I gave up my life for him. It's sad too because like Nova gives back the little flower that Luca gave her, and it's I don't know it's not the saddest scene in this film, but it was like, oh man, that sucks. Because like anytime
Yeah,
Ape dies in this film, it sucks because you like really grown to care for these characters, each this community, and when they're being put through basically a concentration camp, it
uh-huh.
sucks. The filmmaking overall is really good in this film. I'll say this probably has like the weakest script, I'd say, because there are a lot of big plot holes that you could drive trucks through. But again, I feel like the way the film was done, that shit doesn't matter to me, and I could just look
Yeah,
past that.
yeah, that's what I did when, which again, another reason why I contemplate 2 and 3.
Hmm.
I had to look past like that. That's really it. I keep bringing it up. It's kind of annoying to myself, but it's just things I want to just nitpick on, like why I consider 2 and 3 to be equal to me.
That's fair. If you like two better than this film, I'm not gonna like say you're wrong because two is definitely a really good film. I just there's just something about this movie that moves my heart differently than the second one, and I care more about the characters in this film than I did the characters in that film. But that's just me. Yen, from the clips you have seen of this film, what has stood out to you, and what is something you want to know more about?
So you're saying that Nova girl,
Mhm.
like they killed her caretaker, right? Did she see them kill them, or
No.
okay? So that explains why she just goes along with them.
Basically,
Mm-hmm.
they come upon this little camp. This guy is like out and about, like collecting wood. He sees these apes and is about to reach for his gun. Caesar just shotguns the guy, and then they go searching the houses, and they come across this little girl. They bring her outside, and she just looks at the corpse of her caretaker. I don't know if it's her father. I don't know if it's her. We don't know the relationship between these two characters, but they just take her along with because they're like, well, she's gonna die if like we leave her out here because something's not right with her. We got to do something. Come on, Caesar. Like you're not that heartless.
Plot twist, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So she saw the dead body,
Yeah.
right? So she should be smart enough to be like, I hear loud noise. They have monkeys with guns. They killed caretaker. All right, right, right. What if she only went with them out of like a sign of respect and thanks because that dude was secretly a pedophile?
Uh,
Because like if somebody, dude, if you okay, Max, if you tell me and my mom are out in a shack, Fallout style, and then a motherfucking chimpanzee blasts her ass with a shotgun, you think I'm gonna be like, haha, I like it, guys? No, I'm gonna want revenge. But if my mother was abusing, or like, let's say it was a man that I was living with, and he was like fucking the shit out my ass, then like, of course I'm gonna go with the chimpanzees.
oh
That
my
that's my
god.
theory. That's my fucking theory. They killed a pedophile, and that's why Nova went with them. Because otherwise, she would have been like a regular human and try to like either run away or fucking kill the monkeys when she had the chance.
I mean, the sad
All
part
right,
is
okay, Max.
there's nothing in the film that says you're wrong.
Exactly. Because like you gotta. Okay, Max. I want you to be put into my shoes. You're getting your
What?
cheeks clapped on the daily, every night, by some
What?
strange man who offers you protection, but you have to sacrifice your anal virginity to him every day.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's different.
all right. I'm gonna. Who's the director? I'm gonna reach out to them and ask him a few questions.
That was actually my next thing I wanted to say. This is directed again by Matt Reeves, the same guy who went on to do the Batman. Again, he switches up the style for this film. Instead of it being like that wet, damp feeling of being in the forest of the last film, this film decides to go more for like a northern frozen environment. So for most of this film, you just feel really cold because like like the characters are cold, so they're freezing their asses off, even though they have fur. It's still like well below like -10 out there. It just oozes with just like uncomfortable feeling the entire time, and I think hats off to the director for that. But also, just another behind the scenes creative person I want to shout out real quick.
Hmm.
Michael Giacchino, who is the guy who does the score and music for the film. He does the score for the film, and out of all the films, I think this is his crowning achievement because the music in this film is really good. It sells the scenes for me in that, like, when the emotional beats hit, they hit 10 times as effective because you got that really awesome score behind it. Again, my favorite track out of this whole film is Apes Together Strong, which is from the scene where Nova walks into the camp. Yeah, I just got to give a shout out to the musical composition in this film because this is the film where it stands out the most compared to all the other films. I don't know if Adrian, you have anything to speak out upon that. I just wanted to mention it.
Don't really remember much of the music, so unfortunately, I have not much to say.
I guess it just stood out to me.
No, whenever I watch movies, I don't unless the music is like super loud and not very subtle in a scene, or I mean, I don't hyper focus. That's my thing. Unless it's like really there, then I won't really pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more in the moment.
I gotcha. But yeah, just wanted to shout him out real quick and just give the score for this film a chance and really seek it out. It's really fun. I'm still not gonna lie. I'm just still caught up on Yen's theory. So
What theory, buddy? It's gonna be proven.
well, send this video to Matt Reeves. See what he has to say.
Hi, Mr. Reeves. I have a question. Please, now, was that guy a pedophile or not? Come on. I love your work, by the way. I love your work. Subscribe to our Patreon, you rich fuck.
Hey, be nice, be nice. We need the.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, Mr. Reeves. I love you.
Maybe we should probably talk about the thing that happens at the very end of this film. Yeah, Caesar dies. He gets shot by a crossbow into the side by the very person he mercifully let go as a sign of peace, and that guy just totally uses that and shoots him in the side with a crossbow. Only to be saved by Red Donkey in the best switch to the good side I've ever seen in the film, in my opinion.
Man went ape shit on the turn. That was fucking crazy.
I know, right? Uses the grenade launcher, shoots that one guy who shot Caesar, kills that guy, and as Caesar looks at him, you see the guy pull the gun out slow motion, but Donkey doesn't even look behind him. He knows that he's already dead, so he's just like, don't waste this. That character's like arc in the film is just really interesting to me. Yeah, Caesar's death is very sad. It's sad because like he's getting to say goodbye to his best friend, and his best friend's the only one who really notices until it's too late. Caesar's saying like, you guys don't need me. You guys are strong together, with or without me. I got you to this place. Don't waste it. And
Yep.
yeah, it's just sad. And like the only thing that I would change about that scene is I'd like to have one little moment between Caesar and his son before he died.
Yeah.
Because it does come across as like a really shitty deadbeat dad move. Like, well, not much I could do
Bye.
here. Yeah, bye, son. That's the only little bit that I would change. Is like I would like to have one more moment between Caesar and his son, Cornelius at least. But yeah, other than that, like a really solid ending to the trilogy. You get to see this character from the moment he was born to the moment he died. Is that I don't know? This trilogy is up there for me with like the Lord of the Rings, the original Star Wars trilogy,
Just in general.
just in general. Now, this series solidifies this as one of my favorite trilogies of the last 20 years, or at least since I've been alive, because I was there for the first film and I was there for the last film, and I'm curious to see how they're going to continue it, not as a direct sequel, but as a continuation of this continuity. I'm curious to see how they take it in with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which shall be our last review of May Monkey Madness, so stay tuned for that.
I had something really dumb and kind of fucked up to say, but I can't remember.
All right, well, I guess I can ask one thing before we go. What are you guys looking forward to in this new film? I'm just curious to see how far the apes have gone, cultural wise and like society wise, and I'm curious to see that element of things more than anything because the trailers kind of have kept the overall story a bit vague. So I'm kind of curious to see what the actual story is once I go in. But for now, what I want to see is cool ape shit.
There was a real lack of monkeys exploding on a bus. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm hoping there's more violence and gore in this one.
I guess the thing for me is I'm hoping for more, I guess, from an original story, but
Mhm.
still, it has strong tiebacks, but it's not like a constant nostalgia fest. Like, oh, this happened here. Oh, Caesar did this. What would Caesar do? I don't want that. I really don't want that.
The only thing that's
Ooh,
making me think that that's going to happen, but it's also like it could just be a name only, is that apparently the main villain of this next one, his name is Proximus Caesar.
oh, motherfucker.
but then
God damn it.
But then again, like he is the villain, so it's not going to be like a complete Caesar ripoff.
Anti-Caesar.
I guess though. Well, Proximus means like next in line or like next.
Oh, so he thinks he'll just be the next ruler of Monkey
Yeah, pretty much. So it's basically calling yourself like Proximus.
Prime.
Yes. I was thinking like a real world like example, but I was like, oh, I don't want to use like any presidents because fuck that. I don't want to use any like historical hate figures because that would just be bad.
You're welcome. You didn't make it political.
Yeah. Thank you. Proximus Prime, which might actually be a thing. I don't know.
Based on my knowledge, no.
Make it a thing. All right, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for listening to this review. This ends the Caesar trilogy of films for us, but stay tuned for our review of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That will be uploaded next week. We'll also have a very funny video planned for that, and I hope you guys enjoy that little segment. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do you guys want to say anything before we leave?
Need get dinner. Wipe butt. Stink.
All right, bye.